Of course, on Friday the 13th, I need to release a Friday the 13th comic video. I'm nothing if not predictable, so one day means a one shot. Warning, spoilers for the abuser and the abused incoming. On with the show. Maggie's life is terrible. She's in an abusive relationship with her boyfriend, she's made fun of at school, her guidance counselor knows there's something wrong, but sending her to a shrink who sends her to a priest, none of them think anything's really wrong with her life, just that she isn't doing anything meaningful in it since her mother passed away. At home, her stepmother, or whoever she is, berates her with every line she's given. So Maggie decides to do something about it. She takes this huge knife and kills her dad and stepmom. She then gets her asshole boyfriend to pick her up, and they drive to Camp Crystal Lake. He's skittish because of Jason Voorhees, but she flashes some nipple and entices him to, give him some courage. However, as they get out of the car, her using her voluptuous body to get him close before she slams the knife into him and starts to beat the hell out of him for all that he's done to her. While gurgling for his last inch of life, he starts to strangle her. But Jason comes from the forest and kills Steve, the asshole boyfriend. Maggie, mad that Jason stole her kill, stabs Jason in the shoulder. He throws her back before approaching, ready to kill her. She's begging, explaining that he deserved it because of how much he hurt her. Then she stabs Jason through the chest with the knife again. It stuns him enough so that she can grab his machete and just start stabbing and stabbing and stabbing until Jason stops moving. She goes to her boyfriend's car and starts it up, mumbling to herself that she'll never be hurt again. But suddenly Jason is lifting the car up. He flips it over and gasoline starts leaking out. But Maggie gets out of the car and lights the gasoline. The car explodes, sending Maggie and Jason flying. As she lay on the ground, Jason looms over her, smoldering. Maggie breaks down about her mother, how no one cared, so she punished them, just like Jason does. She gets up and holds him, clings to him. But this is Jason Voorhees, so he cuts off her head and drags her into the lake with him. The end. So this book came out in 2008, but the first thing anyone will probably notice about it is that after the cover, the art style becomes actually surprisingly old school, which I like, but I wonder why. I mean, I think, personally, that it's something to be said about having the art stick with this relatively old-school style, giving it a Riverdale Archie's comic look, so the horror elements do make it a bit more Norman Rockwell is bleeding. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it is good art at the very least. As for Fialkov's writing, the comic itself is pretty straightforward, clearly establishing why Maggie's life does suck and why she snaps. It's a fantastic one-shot in that aspect. It's a standard teenage edge brought to the extreme since it's set within a slasher universe, but then when she meets with, for lack of better phrasing, someone she can't get rid of, she breaks down explaining why she is the way she is. Now, while we, as an audience, at least fans of the Friday the 13th franchise, we know why Jason does what he does. He was drowned as a kid, at least sort of. I mean, continuity for the movies have been weird overall, but he does do it to punish those that actually killed his mother more than himself, and then he became a territorial hunter. So her thinking that he's a force of nature sent solely to punish isn't as odd as it could be in context. Actually, before I totally botched this review, this book is kind of like a Rorschach test. When I first read this book years ago and gave it a small write-up, a friend of mine said that she really liked the book because she was that sort of teen girl. Though not with that harsh of a life, she was able to still see herself in Maggie's role far more than I probably could. I mean, I was a tubby outsider in my school days, so I can still get a grasp of it, but not the point where I was able to snuggle up with Jason to try and get him on my side. So, while this is a straightforward plot, I think there's a surprising amount of subtext that can be read into it. Of course, I could be wrong, and if Fialkov ever saw this, he may just be laughing his ass off at some dude who saw meaning at something he wrote in 30 minutes. Either way, happy Friday the 13th, everyone, and tomorrow we continue crossover month with Robotech vs. Voltron.
Yeah!